I'm with my wife Thais, and we are in the middle of a 3-kilometer open water crossing on Lake Superior. This is a trip I've wanted to do for a really long time, but for whatever reason it just didn't work out in the past, and I wanted to do it right, most importantly. We have the time, we have the people, we have the equipment, we have the attitude. I'm just looking forward to exploring this place thoroughly and doing it right. We got about 1 kilometer left of this crossing here. Just so happy to be here. Got a nice wind at our back right now, making good time. We're about 1/3 of the way through Simpson Island. It's turning out to be a real beautiful one. This little archipelago off the main island is kind of neat. We're just cruising along here. This wind is certainly helping us on our way. Hello. You see this face?
Yeah. It's awesome.
It's awesome, right? There's a campsite right here, 25 meters away from the sea caves. So we might take it even though it's 1 o'clock. You know, we've been paddling for quite a few hours now anyways. Maybe take a nap and just chill out for the rest of the day. That was the deepest and one of the longest day naps I've had in a while. Having a really hard time getting up right now. The lovely sound of the waves lapping up against the shore, the sunshine and the breeze. Well, I don't need to explain a beach to you. I think I'm gonna make us some coffee, but first I'm gonna jump in the water just to wake myself up.
pretty sure that the weather should be the same tomorrow, roughly. And that there's less residual waves from yesterday with all that wind. So I'm gonna make the guess that this is gonna stay overnight and through the morning. So that would be wonderful. These rocks tell such an interesting story and have such an integral part of the story of what Lake Superior is. 1.2 billion years ago, the Earth tried to rip open here. Lake Superior lies on a fault line, and in that fault line, magma welled up and came to the surface. These rocks are a result of that. They formed into these cool patterns called columnar basalt. This is a pattern that you see all over nature, in a mud puddle after a rainstorm that dries up, or in the permafrost. These magmas formed into these patterns because it started as very, very hot and cooled very slowly. It was larger and then it contracted in a sort of homogeneous manner. I just find, considering the 1.2 billion year old history of how these rocks came to be, just so interesting. And they're just so beautiful and pretty to look at. Before this trip, Thais and I spent a lot of time mulling over whether we'd go in one canoe or two canoes. Ultimately, we just kind of looked at all the stuff we wanted to bring and just said 2 canoes. But that was not an easy decision, considering this is Lake Superior and Thais is fairly inexperienced when it comes to paddling solo. We just decided that we're gonna give it a whirl. We had a lot of fun doing it last time, and we might be a little bit slower and we might not be able to go as far as we want, but hey, that's what compromises are all about. You can see the far side of the island over 15 kilometers away. It's quite intimidating distances, I have to say. These coastlines are endlessly interesting. This is the kind of place you need to come here and recognize that you can't do it all in one trip. There's just too much to it, so I need to say and bookmark in the back of my mind, I will come back.
don't get anxious if you don't get to see everything.
There's something so lovely about the color palette around here. The reds of the rocks, the greens of the trees, and the Caribbean green of the water.
The wind and waves have picked up significantly, and we are facing a stiff headwind. But luckily we just have to get around this point here. It's about 500 meters in front of us, and hopefully when we turn the corner the wind will be at our back and bring us to our campsite for the night. It's been a beautiful day. We've made about 20 kilometers today, and every day we keep on getting better. Thais is doing awesome in the headwind right now, really doing well. I don't think she'd have been able to do this 2 days ago. The pacing's super important with a headwind like this. Just finding that just enough to push you forward, but not burning out your energy.
Great today. Yeah!
I'm not sure where I heard this, but I heard that Lake Superior takes over 300 years to fully recharge its water, meaning that if Lake Superior were the bathtub and you were to drain it out at its current rate and not refill it, it would take 300 years. I've just been kind of sitting here contemplating that, looking at this stream and what will happen in 300 years time when potentially this water cycles out into Lake Huron. Kind of interesting to think. The water that is being released now, what was happening 300 years ago here. The very beginning of the fur trade, the first Europeans were exploring this land. Just interesting, every once in a while something causes me to make a mental connection to the past or into the future, and somehow this stream did that for me right now. So here's the total map overview. Again, we started right here and we came through here, and now today we are just around, camping right there on St. Ignace Island. Here's a bigger, more blown up view. This is where we started. Came through here, around Simpson. We slept here last night. Then today we came all the way through here, this way, and now we're in Duncan Harbor. Tomorrow I'd like to come out, hopefully by Agate Island, and then to Flower Island, and then I'd like to also camp somewhere around here, ideally, and then make my way in around here. If I can make my way out all through here, I would love to, but I doubt it. This is the Sibley Peninsula. This is Sleeping Giant Provincial Park, but I most likely think we'll turn around here and go through the island chain in a different variation. really strange sounds last night. We really don't know what it was. My best guess was a lynx, but it sounded like it was right on the beach. We had our alarm set for 4 o'clock, but we got woken up at 4:30. The fastest way to where we'd like to get to today is through an island chain on the outskirts of St. Ignace Island. So we're making a 2.5 kilometer crossing right now. It's perfect conditions to do it. Sun will rise in 10 minutes.
This is a super cool landform right here. These are called terraced cobble beaches. They record the last 3,000 years of storm history on Lake Superior. During the last ice age, there was 2 to 3 kilometers of ice sitting right on this spot, and that caused the earth to be pushed down dozens of feet sometimes. And after the ice retreated, the earth starts rebounding back up, and that's called isostatic rebound. In fact, it's still happening here, and this landform is a result of that, along with significant storm events in Lake Superior. What happens is a major storm event washes all the rocks up on shore, and then the earth keeps on rising, and then another storm event happens and it kind of shapes the land again, and over time, as the land gets higher, these storm events are recorded on this beach. So you have 3,000 years of lake storm history here on this island. And this island, called Paradise Island, is basically almost all terraced cobble beach. I just loved thinking about the idea of some epic storm 3,000 years ago shaping the landscape here. And there'd be people around to experience it. Really gets my wheels turning. Just to save a little time, we've decided to cut right across the bay. It's about a 3 kilometer crossing, as opposed to following the shoreline along the west coast of St. Ignace to get to the shortest crossing point towards Floor Island. We just decided to cross the bay instead. Weather's been holding pretty good. Wind's picked up a little bit, but it's at our backs and it's assisting us quite nicely. There's 2 things we've missed on this trip so far. Number 1 is a fire, and second is a fish. Now we only have 1 thing missing, and that is a fish. We originally were planning to go a little bit farther, but we saw this campsite, and I saw in particular this little fire pit that just spoke to me. And I said, you know what, we're gonna stop right here. Let's call it. It's 3 o'clock. Let's give ourselves some time to hang out. To say that's a good decision, a family of otters just popped their heads out of the water and dropped by and then scurried off across the bay here. we just turned around the corner from coming out camp, and we looked up at this hill, and it's a nice burnout. After our last trip, Thais has got blueberry fever, and hopefully there's a nice view up there, so we're just gonna go and check it out.
Well, as expected, it's a glorious view. Lots of blueberries, lots of flowers, lots of raspberries. It's a hell of a way to get up though, in terms of how short it is. It's not that steep, it's just all the blowdown from the burnout. We're gonna get going back down to the canoes, continue on. This was well worth it, but quite the hassle.
You're gonna catch us a big one with this one, Maxim. I know you are.
I hope so.
I know you are.
We're coming to a more exposed part after being protected by this archipelago on our south, and we're going to make some decisions whether we can continue paddling around the point or whether it's better to wait for tomorrow morning. We really haven't gone far today. We kind of got distracted with the hike, and we got distracted with trying to fish in that little passageway there. I don't want to do a 2.5 kilometer crossing with big waves right now if we don't have to.
I got here, picked up some agates, and saw it as an omen that we should just hang out and take a break day. I'm gonna take a nap right now, rest up, and then just explore, probably look for some more agates.
Agate. Agate.
So you've been a busy worker.
Okay.
Oh man.
This one.
You got more?
Oh, that was just their earlier.
Oh my god. What are you doing?
Oh, that's way more than I thought it was.
Wow. Okay, this is part of the pile that I got.
Yep.
These are agates that we're looking for. And this is what Thais just got. Oh man. We have a lot of sorting to do, Thais. You know?
Just high check. It's true, every rock basically I lick.
That's weird.
I'm gonna get burned at one point.
Just like lick a moth's nest or something.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, what's this? It's cockroach egg!
These are the oldest agates in the world. I love how these rocks tell the story of Lake Superior. There was the Midcontinent Rift 1.2 billion years ago, which was ripping apart. Lavas flowed up and out. In that magma are CO2 bubbles. And as that magma hardens, it creates empty spaces. And in those empty spaces, over time, mineral-rich water with silica and iron seep into it and make this. Kind of something special to know that this is the oldest agate in the world. It's a tactile connection to the deep past. This added so much depth to this trip for me.
Back in the canoes, trying to make it the 20 kilometers to Shishibi Bay. We got a 2-kilometer open water crossing today. Looking forward to today's paddle. It's a baby peregrine falcon right now, screaming, saying, "Mom, Mom, give me food." We're about to head around Agate Point. Agate Point is a headland that has very few landing places and will most definitely have weird reflection waves just because it's steep cliffs. I can already feel them. Very irregular waves here. We're having to tack into the wind and then around this point as opposed to being broadsided. If these waves get any bigger, we're going to have to call it, but I think we should be good. So we are getting around the point here, and there's a 1 kilometer crossing coming up, but the waves got really irregular. So we decided to pull over a little bit, maybe just hang out here just until the waves calm down a little bit so we can do the crossing to continue on. And look what we found. Looks like, I'm guessing a juvenile moose. It could be a caribou, I'm not sure. I know there's a lot of moose in this area. Look at this scene. There's so much animal feces all over the place. There has been animals clearly feasting on this carcass for a long time. There's bones over here, there's bones over there.
There's bones scattered all around me. It's quite the scene of death. It's just before 7 and we're just gonna hit the water. Let's take our time, we'll be fine. It died down a little bit, not a ton, but enough to feel safe enough that we're good. If we just take our time and ferry across, we'll keep our nose pointed into the wind the whole time. It's not the size of the waves that's worrisome, it's the irregularity of them that's the issue. Gonna get on the water now, should have a nice evening paddle ahead of us. Yeah, let's tack right now. Wolf prints.
We let ourselves sleep in this morning to 9 a.m. and wake up to this beautiful campsite. The water was like glass when we woke up. It's getting a little bit more wind now, but it's still absolutely lovely. There's wildflowers right behind our tent. There's moose tracks and wolf tracks all along this long beach. This will definitely be an amazing spot to see wildlife in the evenings and in the mornings. Today is a day for rest and recovery before we go on to the next leg of our journey.
It's a really interesting habitat here. The fine-grained sands extend all the way into the forest, and the trees and the meadow here shows for it. There's a whole ecosystem here that is a little bit unique for the area. Really cool place to spend the day. Face and I are contemplating what we're going to do tomorrow. The wind on Saturday and Sunday is going to pick up quite a bit, which complicates plans for us because I would like to go a little bit farther in this trip, but if we get windbound for 2 more days, it really makes getting back to our car kind of tricky a week from now. So contemplating doing that. I really haven't made a decision yet. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do at the moment.
So we have made our decision for tomorrow. We passed by yesterday an epic campsite with a really amazing view and a big long beach. So we're gonna head back to that. It makes a lot of sense because the wind is gonna pick up tomorrow late morning up to around 40-kilometer-hour gusts. So we're gonna wake up at 3 a.m. and really utilize that calm water. There's 15 kilometers to that campsite. So we are currently camping right here in this large bay. It's 8 kilometers deep, and we plan to paddle back to Spar Island tomorrow. We saw a really wonderful campsite, and hopefully we get there before the winds. If not, we're gonna have to stop somewhere before. But it looked awesome, and then we're gonna explore the backside of Floor Island. Camping on the front side was amazing, and that paddle down the south side honestly was probably my favorite so far. If we get here tomorrow, it should set us up nicely so we can enjoy and really explore this, as opposed to doing here, potentially getting windbound and rushing through the rest. We had an alpine start this morning. Woke up at 3 a.m. There's a slight breeze that's picked up on the water, but the water's still glassy. We have about 15 kilometers to get to our goal today, and about 10 kilometers to get around a problematic headland that would cause us to stop.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love how we're paddling towards the moon right now.
Oh, I know. Well, we made it to Shishi Bay. Winds definitely picked up and changed directions, but it's still very paddleable. I know I've been saying Shishi Bay wrong this whole time, but it's definitely Shishib. not whatever I was saying before. Goal is to get around Agate Point before the winds pick up. Have a little bit of a crossing right now. We're hiding behind this cool square looking rock. Not a lot of squares around here. Damn it!
Walked yourself right into that.
Damn. She's good. Made it back to Agate Point with no issues. The wind didn't pick up. In fact, it probably died down a little bit. I was a little bit worried doing that last little crossing and coming across this point here, potentially with big waves coming and crashing against the rocks, creating reflection waves, but we have none of that. It'll be tempting to keep on paddling today. The question is whether we trust the weather report or not. Now that we're around Agate Point, we can take our time. So I think we're just going to explore the shoreline. It seems like there's just tons to check out.
Wow, this is so cool. Whoa. It looks like the wall from the labyrinth, where the little worm lives. Come on, baby. I'm looking for the big one. The big one.
The mother lode?
Our whole family will never have to work again.
This rock formation looks like the root of a tree.
It's really cool because we passed by the shore when we were going the other way. Just goes to show how much stuff we still have to explore even though we've came from that direction. I love how each little beach has their own sound with the size of grains of sand or pebbles, the type of rock, the angle of the beach, the type of wave. All kind of creates a unique soundscape. Got off the water just when the whitecaps were peaking and Max started yawning. A 2 or 3 hour nap is in order. We did wake up at 3 a.m. after all, and it was definitely the right call. Successful morning. If this campsite isn't perfection, I don't know what is. It was a totally good idea to come back here. We got the shade. I mean, it's windy over on that side, but it's hardly any breeze here. Lots of firewood, turquoise water, cliffs. It's a shame actually that we're gonna have to nap through a good portion of the afternoon. What a nap. What a nap indeed. Went to sleep around 2 and woke up around 6. The swallows have been really fun to watch from this campsite. Just really athletic birds. We had our alarm set for 4 this morning. I went out and took a look at the water, and it seemed paddleable, but there was a wind out, and if you're paddling at night you want glassy conditions. And then we just kept on sleeping. Now it's 9 o'clock. We're just contemplating what our next move is. Well, we never really made a decision today. The decision has been made for us by doing nothing. And I think we're okay with it. I'm enjoying myself. I'm finally getting to the book, the textbook that I brought. And I absolutely love this book. And it just blows my mind to read how 3 million years ago there used to be forests in the Arctic, and how a mountain chain in Alaska stopped that, from happening by blocking off warm air currents. I'm just reading about giant beavers that lived in the southern Ontario region about 80,000 years ago. They were the size of small black bears. Just mind-blowing. I could imagine the warning sign from that thing hitting its tail in the water when you're sneaking up on it in your canoe. The frame of thinking, the scale, is something about geology that really just makes my mind sing. Something almost spiritual about it, really considering deep spans of time. Just a spectacular morning here. There's lots of haze in the air from humidity or something. These nice rollers coming from the south. Gonna keep close to shore today. There should be some bigger winds coming up. Right now we're gonna go into Moss Harbor and behind Moss Island and then behind Floor Island before we have a little bit more of an exposed paddle later in the morning. This is why we come, and these morning paddles just make it. It's just unbelievable. You gotta constantly be looking over your right shoulder with these rollers here. Probably the biggest ones we've had to face yet so far on this trip. And it's only 6:30 in the morning. Also the most fun because the period is pretty spread out, so you just roll over them. It's crazy that you hear the rollers crashing against the shore behind us, but we're paddling on glass right now. Well, that was an A+ morning paddle. I mean, it's not over yet, but that was a day's worth already. So we're gonna cross the channel here. It's about 1.5 kilometers, 2 kilometers. It's nothing too much. It's a little bit more protected than the opening that we had earlier before. And then headwinds and waves for the next 6 to 8 kilometers. We're gonna give it a go, just take it nice and easy. Just sitting here in the waves doesn't feel too bad. Just if it gets worse, that's the only issue. But I think we'll be fine. We're going 4 or 5 kilometers an hour just by the wind. These double blades are super useful because I can extend them out like this and just pry them against the gunnel of the canoe, and you get a lot of leverage. So kind of taking a break, letting the wind do the work before we get around this bend into a channel where there should be a lot less wind, hopefully. Hopefully these winds are general, not localized, because if they're just localized coming through this channel here, we could have a headwind coming out on the other side of this corner here. We're not going to cross the strait between Floor Island and St. Ignace Island. It's totally doable, but the juice ain't worth the squeeze probably at this point. Just paddling into a headwind
Might as well do it when there's less of a headwind. We have time, so we're gonna head to a campsite that we camped about almost a week ago. There's no use in expending energy needlessly into a headwind like this. I've been really spending a lot of time, especially when I'm napping or sort of in between, sleep and awake, just kind of listening to the sonic landscape. And this is another one of those places where it's just sonically so rich. I'm gonna enjoy that, taking another midday nap. Not only is it the time of trip where we're getting a little bit low on coffee, getting a little bit low on food as well. We have one dehydrated meal left and we have about 5 more nights. So I'm making a lentil soup right now. We have an onion and just lentils here. I'm just kind of winging it. Thais is off collecting rocks. She might help me in a bit polish this up because I have no idea what I'm doing. Between Thais and me, I have a tendency to start the meals because I get hungry way faster than she does, and then she comes in appalled and then takes over.
I go really heavy on the crumbs.
Yeah, can I have some more crumbs?
See?
Yeah. Pass some more crumbs over. I like the crumbs.
Who doesn't?
We're headed straight into a 1 kilometer crossing this morning and a bit of a headwind. Still much calmer than yesterday. Still got a little bit of that residual swell from yesterday, which is coming from the south. The wind right now is coming from the northeast, which kind of leads to choppy waters. If the wind suddenly picked up, it would not be a great place to be. Did the crossing, taking a quick coffee break here. Looks like a fog bank might be rolling in way off in the distance. Contemplating going the route through St. Ignace Bay and through the archipelago, but I think we're just gonna follow the shoreline because of that fog bank. It's getting a bit too spicy for my liking. We're going to call things. There's a point up here that looks enticing to camp at. The waves are big and choppy. We've made it about 15K today, and that's a good day. How you doing? Okay, we'll just keep the pace where you can save energy, but you're just making enough forward momentum.
Yeah.
Safety! That was unnecessarily risky. That paddle was a little bit spicier than we would have wanted. Nothing that we can't handle, but just not worth it to paddle in. It's funny how you find yourself in those situations where, you know, you're looking for camp and you can't really see anything, and so you keep on paddling and you're comfortable, but then it kind of gets a little bit uncomfortable and you're still looking for camp, and then you're just asking yourself, why am I paddling in this? It's very easy to find yourself in those situations, actually, in paddling big water like this. And so it's just always cause for reflection. Just why do I find myself in this situation? Where was there a mistake? If there was a mistake. I'm not sure there was, but it's just good to reflect on these things. Lentil soup was last night's dinner, this morning's breakfast, and now today's lunch. Still good. And delicious.
Look at this. Look at this right here. See it?
Oh yeah. That's very cool.
It's a yellowfin! Oh, I'm snagged.
Peace. Over on the rocks. Look at these strange red markings in the rock. What do you think? Ancient aliens or rust seeping through cracks in the rock? I think ancient aliens for sure. What does it mean? Can you believe that the weather report is 0% chance of rain after 5? It's 6:30 right now. I don't know what to believe, but often the weather report is not right. But 0%,
0% really? Anyways, I'm gonna do the last couple chores to get camp wrapped up, get to bed early, do some reading, and get another early start tomorrow morning. What a way to start the morning. I'm glad we pulled over.
Yeah.
Because I just wasn't.
Getting sick.
Yeah, just with the waves. It just
Did you
really
get something good of him eating the fish?
Oh yeah, because he was looking right at me, eating the fish, like quack, 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 like while like I was here, like
Was he
looking at
using
him.
his hands, kind of like?
Yeah. Because he like showed off the fish a bunch of times to us before he ate it.
I don't know what that was.
I don't know. It's almost just like, look at the fish I've got.
I mean, clearly otters won't think like that, but it
Who
might have
knows?
just been.
Who knows? I mean, cats certainly do.
I don't think that's showing off. It just looks like it.
Cats like to show off.
But it's not showing off, right? It's like bringing something in for some reason.
Anyways, what a way to start the morning.
Wow.
We got a real late start this morning. To begin with, we were kind of moving a little slow. I was waiting for the mist to kind of clear a little bit, just so it'd be easier to navigate. And right when we were leaving camp, some otters passed by. They're going in the same direction down the coast. And we didn't push them too hard, and they just sort of got used to us. At one point they came real close and all dropped back into the water together, and we kept on moving in the same direction for about 2.5 kilometers. Anyways, awesome morning. Really looking forward to enjoying this paddle. There's even a tiny bit of blue sky.
Thais is itching to do some blueberry picking, so she demanded we stopped here. I am not complaining though, because this is magnificent. We're never gonna get anywhere today because the whole place is just so beautiful. Even though we came this way, we were on the other side of the island last time, and then it's a whole new world on this side. Fog's rolling in again. It's funny, I thought we were done with that.
Probably just a snag in the way. It might just be a snag from the...
Looks like a snag from here. I mean, you're pulling yourself back to the place. It keeps on pulling though. It's like pulling. That's a fish.
Could be. I think it is. It might be. Oh shit, it's a fucking big ass fish. Yeah! Here we go, here we go! Oh, no! Yay! Oh my god! Oh my god! Whoa! Woo!
Yeah!
Yeah!
Woohoo!
Woo, 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 woo. Wow.
Oh yeah!
Yeah, boy.
Oh man!
Yeah.
Oh man! The wait paid off.
The wait paid off, baby. Yeehaw! Look at that guy.
Redemption!
See that?
We're running out of food too.
Hell yeah.
We don't need to fish at all today.
Nope.
Oh my
Ooh,
god.
wow. Look at the beautiful tail, the beautiful,
Yeah.
oh, what a beautiful
Sure,
fish.
yeah.
I'm sorry, buddy. Aw. Poseidon, thank you!
Let's stop here.
Here I go, dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 hey!
Look at all these cobwebs.
We are so happy that we caught that fish. Been having an amazing trip, but the one thing just doesn't really seem to be going our way is fishing. We haven't got a single bite up until that fish. The fish was 25 inches. And we're also kind of running out of food. There'll be
a well-accepted meal.
We are at a beautiful, dynamic campsite. We got a lovely view out here. We got all our stuff drying from yesterday. We are here for a reason because the trailhead for St. Ignace Mountain is just around the peninsula here, and that is one of the highest peaks in Ontario. So that's about only 5 kilometers, but it takes around 6 hours minimum apparently to do it. So it's very rugged. It's apparently a really great hike, so really looking forward to it. We're gonna do that and then try to make this crossing over here back to Simpson Island in the afternoon. So we got a lot on the plate tomorrow, but first we're trying to cook this fish that we caught, but we are discovering firsthand that this amazing geology, you can see right here, a kind of geode going on here, but almost everywhere you look, there's just some sort of rock with an agate or some sort of quartz filling in it. Anyways, we had a fire up here, closer to the tent. It started exploding. And as you can hear down there, it's exploding. The rocks are exploding. So we're probably gonna have to have dinner on a stove tonight, even though we're kind of running out of propane. Terrace, 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 Terrace. Yeah!
Thanks, babe.
This is glorious. This is a glorious meal.
Let me have a bite. Wow, you really like it that much, eh?
Yeah, you spice it awesome too.
Mmm.
Put lemon on it.
Like that. What a fat fish, huh? Hmm. Hmm.
Ooh. Just behind camp here, eh?
Yep.
There you go. You ate 'em.
It's a nice little snack
Yeah.
after our trout dinner.
Yeah.
We're just doing the short paddle here to the trailhead of Mount St. Ignace. This paddling weather kind of makes me wish I was paddling in a way, but I'm also really excited for this hike. This would be a perfect weather to put on some kilometers. That plant is called Indian pipe, and it's really cool because it does not use photosynthesis to survive. It actually survives through a network of fungi, I believe, to steal nutrients from host trees. So technically it's a parasitic flower, and that's why it's white like that. The guidebook says to budget 6 hours minimum to do this hike, and it's only 5 kilometers, so it kind of makes you raise an eyebrow. It took us 3 hours to get up here, and it will probably take us another 3 to get back down. So the guidebook was quite accurate actually about how long it takes up here, and we weren't slacking. Visibility is not great actually. There's been kind of this haziness in the sky, this like really humid haziness that for the last week almost. Was it worth it? Absolutely, really cool, but it's a serious hike though, even though it's only 5 kilometers. So we're gonna head down, about 3 hours back to camp, and then we got about 15K that we want to get canoeing today. So big day. We have taken a nice long break after a swim and coffee. It is about 6 o'clock. We are ready to paddle. We have 33 kilometers left to the takeout. And tonight really kind of needs to be our last night because we are running out of food. Also, we have an obligation that we have to be to. The winds are coming from the southeast, so we've decided that we're not going to paddle on the south side of Simpson Island. We're going to paddle on the strait between Simpson Island and St. Ignace Island, going north, trying to catch a little bit of the tailwinds, which means we have a little bit of a longer crossing tomorrow. Instead of a 3 kilometer crossing, it'll be more like a 4 kilometer crossing, but we might do it in the middle of the night.
You know, this time I'm actually dreaming of the car ride out.
The hamburger, the glorious...
I don't know what it's going to be. There's probably going to be some ice cream involved.
I don't know.
When I was melting on that hike, I was just like, I can't eat ice cream.
You made me weak with the ice cream. You hit a nerve.
The lentils were good, but honestly, after we ate the lentils the first night, I spent the whole night being a hot box with your farts that smelled exactly like the dish in the tent. It was just like a full night of smelling the dinner. And then in the morning you're like, here, have some of these cold lentils. And I was just like, it took me a while to understand what it was, but I just couldn't even consider that.
Well, I didn't have that experience at all. I quite enjoyed
I tried to have one bite and I was like, whoa, why does it feel so bad?
I quite enjoyed the lentils.
I noticed you did.
We are approaching the mouth of the strait between Simpson Island and St. Ignace Island. We have traveled about 12 kilometers since 6:30 and it is 9 right now. In other words, we were flying. We were assisted by a tailwind and it's almost like somebody planned it that way. We're just gonna keep on paddling until we don't feel like paddling anymore. There's a very good chance that we might do the crossings tonight. Looking like glass right now. Beautiful paddling conditions.
Second one. Yeah. No ties.
It's beautiful.
It's full of mystery and power. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean. The wind picked up significantly as we were turning the corner around Simpson Island, and that made the night paddle seem a lot less sense. We're gonna eke out a campsite just in a mildly flat area on a bouldery beach. There's crazy rocks here. I wish I was here during the daylight, but we're just gonna try to eke out a few hours of sleep, probably wake up around 3 a.m. and do the 4-kilometer crossing. Hopefully the wind will die, that's what the weather report says, but weather reports have been wrong before. It is about 5 a.m. and the water is calm and the wind is calm. We're gonna do this crossing. In 1935, my grandfather, at 5 years old, came with his mother and his brother on a boat from Ukraine. They met my great-grandfather and found a job in a gold mine in northern Ontario. My great-grandmother never knew how to read. My grandfather became an engineer, had a good job, raised a family, had 10 grandkids. I'm one of them. I didn't talk about it on this trip, but my grandfather passed just a few days ago. It was his time, but he will be sorely missed. This place has been the perfect place to process that. It's such an incredible area. I know he would love it so much. I saw him for the last time on my way up to do this trip. I told him I was proud of him, that I hope to be able to do what he accomplished, providing for his family, setting an example. I hardly get to meet any of you, but it means a lot for me to be able to bring you along on the journey. I myself have been stuck in the city, not being able to leave, or been injured, and it means a lot to me to be able to bring just incredible places in the world like this to other people. So thank you for coming along with me.